or a single gemstone, the handsome guy actually threw his teammate off the helicopter without hesitation. The ferocious rhino weighing several tons was like an out-of-control chariot, trampling the teammate into pulp on the spot, but strangely enough, the next second, the teammate fell from the sky again and was caught by the handsome guy. Why is a teammate's life not as important as a single gemstone? And what's going on with the helicopter that defies the laws of physics? It turns out this is a game world. A few days ago, the handsome guy fell from the sky. Before he could figure out what was happening, he touched his head and found that his hair was gone. But every loss has its gain. Even though he lost his hair, he gained a bunch of solid muscles on his body. Then 3 more people fell to the ground. They all seemed confused about the situation. The handsome guy reacted first. The strangers in front of him were probably all his friends. It turned out that a few minutes earlier, they found a vintage game console and were accidentally sucked into the game world. The skinny guy suddenly transformed into a muscular hunk, while the former strong black guy turned into a skinny monkey, and his weakness turned out to be cake.
I love cake. I couldn't resist it. Hey, it's all good.
There's also the gentle top student who transformed into a fiery beauty. The worst off is the originally very vain sweet girl. She actually turned into a greasy middle-aged man. The 4 of them need to save the forest in the game to return to the real world. And this game actually started 20 years ago. Back then, there was a handsome guy who picked up an old board game by the seaside. He turned around and gave it to his game-loving son Alex. This board game is particularly weird. During the day, it looks like a worn-out old board game with chipped paint. But at night, it actually turns into a cartridge-based game console. Alex was extremely curious, so he inserted the cartridge. A bright light flashed by in an instant, and he disappeared without a trace. Since then, their house has become a well-known haunted house in the town. 20 years passed in the blink of an eye. In the same town, 4 high school students are about to get together to participate in this Jumanji-style game spanning 20 years. Spencer was an invisible person at school. His grades were decent, but he was physically weak, and he was also timid. His buddy Fridge was the exact opposite. He wasn't good at studying, but he was tall and strong, exuding an aura of "come at me if you dare." With the paper due soon, Fridge directly asked Spencer to write it for him. Spencer didn't want to but didn't dare to refuse, but after finishing it, they were caught by the teacher. To avoid being beaten up, he simply took full responsibility, saying he was the one who offered to write it for Fridge, and it had nothing to do with Fridge. The teacher was shocked and punished both of them with after-school detention. As for Martha, she was a typical top student. She hated sports the most. She thought that playing football in PE class is a pure waste of time, only delaying her entrance exam to a key university, and she would have no future prospects, only being a useless profession such as a PE teacher.
That's detention.
Finally, there's Bethany. She's the sweet and sassy girl at school. She loves taking selfies in her daily life. Then she edits the photos and posts them on social media, waiting for likes. She even doesn't forget to talk to her best friend during exams. What angle to use for taking photos, which software to use for editing. She has a casual attitude when faced with the teacher's questions, and finally got after-school detention too. Each of the 4 has their own troubles. The principal punished them to stay after school together, to clean up the room full of old computers. While cleaning, Fridge found an old game console in the donation box, and Spencer was notoriously fond of playing video games. He couldn't move as soon as he saw the game console. He resolutely plugged it in and invited everyone to play. The game is called Jumanji, and there are 5 characters in it. Among them, the pilot slot had already been chosen. Fridge picked one with a super cool name, and it's also a zoologist character. Spencer was born to be inquisitive. He immediately chose the doctor character when he saw it. Bethany was originally the beauty of the group. When choosing a game character, she definitely had to pick the one described as having long legs and a slim waist. She saw one described as super hot in figure, and clicked it without hesitation. Martha didn't want to play at first, but when she saw Spencer, whom she had a crush on, also urging her to play, she planned to play along for a while, and chose the last remaining character. Suddenly, an exciting yet strange drumbeat sounded. Before the 4 could react, they were directly pulled into the game. First to appear was the muscular Dr. Smolder Bravestone. He landed steadily on both feet. And this was exactly Spencer's character. Then came Fridge, who had turned into a small guy, and the hot-looking Martha, who fell from the sky. They didn't recognize each other at this time. Fridge immediately tried to take charge, but was hit by Bethany, who entered the game last. Bethany had directly turned into a greasy middle-aged man. What happened to the promised hot figure? Spencer reacted first. He identified the others one by one, and speculated that they had all been sucked into the game, and had become the characters they chose. The others couldn't accept this situation for a while.
Guys, I'm telling you, I am Spencer. I'm
Yep, that's Spencer.
Bethany stared down for a long time and couldn't even see the tops of her feet. She hurried to the river to look at herself in the water. The person in the reflection was short, fat, and greasy. Bethany broke down on the spot, then she shouted loudly, "Where's my precious phone?" At this moment, everyone noticed 3 stripes on their wrists, and were wondering what it was. Suddenly, a hippopotamus splashed out of the river, and swallowed Bethany in one bite. The remaining 3 were so scared that their hearts almost jumped out of their chests. The next second, Bethany plopped down from the sky again. Fortunately, she was unharmed. At this moment, Fridge suddenly started spouting a lot of knowledge about hippopotamuses.
How do I know this?
You're an expert in zoology.
Just as they breathed a sigh of relief, another hippopotamus popped out of the water. The 4 of them hurriedly took off running. At the critical moment, the NPC in the game finally drove over. He picked them up and raced toward a safe place. As soon as the NPC spoke, he said he was here to help them understand the rules. To get back home, they had to complete the mission. It turned out that this game world was cursed. The 4 of them had to work together to clear the level and get back. To let them know the whole story, the system gave Spencer a letter.
I don't have a letter.
There was also an animation played. The animation said the villain in the game is named Russell. Many years ago, he led a treasure hunting team here to search for treasure. Finally, they discovered an enormous gemstone on the Jaguar stone statue. Russell took the gemstone for himself. The entire forest turned dark in an instant. He also gained a sinister magic power that allows him to control all kinds of animals in the game. The driver who was driving at that time sensed something was wrong, and seized the opportunity to steal the gemstone and escape.
Like that. Here you go.
So the mission of the 4 of them is actually super simple. Put the gemstone back on the stone statue, then shout out the game's name loudly, and they can complete the mission and go home. After saying this, the driver gave them a map, stepped on the gas and drove away, leaving the 4 people who were still not fully recovered from the shock standing there. Everyone was completely dumbfounded after hearing this, and had no idea what to do next. Listening to everyone's mutual complaints, Spencer, on the contrary, suddenly became tough.
I think we have to save Jumanji. Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry.
Originally, he wanted to lead everyone to push forward the mission, but when he took out the map and took a look, it was not only missing a corner, but also completely blank like a piece of empty paper. The map in Bethany's eyes was different. It was the common foggy map in games. The places they had passed could be displayed clearly, while the places they hadn't been to only had simple icons. Until this moment, everyone finally realized that each of them had exclusive skills. Only Bethany could see the map. They had to find the skill panels. After fumbling around, Spencer successfully brought up his character panel when he patted his chest. Dr. Smolder Bravestone was good at climbing, running, and boomerang throwing, as well as the charming death stare.
What the hell are you doing?
And his weakness is actually none. Martha opened her panel and saw, her best skills are combat abilities and war dance, and her weakness is fear of venom. Bethany's strengths are map drawing and archaeology. Just, with poor stamina, the worst off is Fridge. His skill is Dr. Smolder Bravestone's toolkit, and he also has some knowledge of animals, but he has a lot of weaknesses. He can't run fast and has poor stamina, and he also has an inexplicable fear of cake. No one knows what that means. While they were discussing, a group of motorcycle-riding thugs rushed over from far away. They look like total bad guys. Definitely the villains making their debut. Although Spencer was at the back at first, he quickly caught up. Bethany soon ran out of stamina and fell to the ground. As the thugs were about to catch up, Martha jumped up and kicked the thug over. Spencer also tried throwing a boomerang. The group rushed in panic to a cliff edge, and had to jump down. When they climbed ashore, Martha noticed that she had been shot during the fight, then she disappeared in an instant. Before long, Martha fell from the sky again. That's when everyone realized that the 3 stripes on their wrists were their lives in the game. Bethany and Martha had both died once, and now only 2 stripes were left. Only Spencer and Fridge still had 3, having just narrowly escaped death. Everyone was so scared they needed to use the bathroom. It was Bethany's first time being a man in her life, and she had no idea how to do it. She even wanted Fridge to teach her step by step. With Fridge and Spencer's guidance, Bethany finally figured it out. Then Bethany and Martha talked. In the past, Bethany always thought Martha was very picky, looked down on her completely, and only cared about studying. After talking, she realized that wasn't the case. Martha was afraid of being hated by Bethany first, so she deliberately acted cold towards her to protect herself. After hearing this, the little resentment in Bethany's heart was finally resolved. Just as they were getting along, Spencer and Fridge started arguing again. It turned out that earlier, Spencer had tried to help Fridge cheat but failed, and Fridge had been kicked off the football team. He had been complaining about it ever since. Spencer also got angry. They used to be buddies, but now Fridge looked down on him more and more. He ignored him usually, and only thought of him when he needed homework done. He was so stupid he couldn't even write a simple paper. Fridge had never been scolded like that in his life. He lost his temper and pushed Spencer off the cliff in one go. When Spencer respawned, he was like a different person, and wasn't afraid of Fridge anymore. Fridge refused to admit defeat and wanted to fight him, but Spencer easily held him down. Spencer stopped him and said, "Stop messing around here and wasting lives. The most important thing now is to finish the mission quickly and return to the real world." After calming Fridge down, the four of them arrived at a market and planned to eat something to regain their strength first. Bethany loves sweet food the most, so she went to buy a loaf of bread. Fridge picked it up and took a big bite. Only after asking did they find out that it wasn't bread but cake. That's when Fridge remembered that his character panel said he was afraid of cake, but nothing seemed to happen after eating it. He even wondered if being afraid of cake meant he loved it so much that he couldn't move when he saw it.
Hey, it's all good.
He never imagined it would explode. Actually, they came to the market to find map fragments. At this moment, an NPC led them to a room and told them a riddle. It was messy and a bit hard to understand. So this level was a puzzle-solving challenge. Spencer opened the straw basket in the room, and there was actually a venomous snake coiled inside. As soon as Fridge saw the animal, his passive skill was activated and he started explaining. Bethany thought about the riddle just now, and thought this level required staring down the snake. She immediately leaned over and stared at the snake. As soon as she made eye contact with the snake, she almost got bitten. At the critical moment, Fridge said they had to pull out the snake's fangs first. The group cooperated in a fluster, and finally managed to handle the snake. It turned out this level was testing their mutual trust and tacit understanding. Inside the straw basket wasn't a map fragment but an elephant jade carving. There was also a note that read, "When you see me, the climb begins." The villain Russell could control the animals in the game. Their whereabouts were soon discovered by the vultures in the sky. Russell immediately sent his men to surround them. Now it was Spencer's turn to show his skills. He easily took down a group of minions. But before they could catch their breath, Russell led his main forces and surrounded them tightly. Suddenly, someone threw a smoke grenade. Taking advantage of the smoke, they rescued the four of them. The person led everyone to the underground passage to pass the level. First, they dodged the flying spears, then avoided the swinging machetes, and finally crossed a bridge with crocodiles underneath. They finally reached a safe place. The one who rescued them was the pilot in the game, the character that had been chosen at the very beginning. His real name was Alex. There was no concept of time in the game. He thought he had only been trapped here for a few months. Besides flying planes, the pilot could also mix homemade cocktails. He showed off his skills on the spot. The cabin he lived in wasn't his own. It was built by someone named Alan. This place was actually an Easter egg. This movie is a reboot. The original Jumanji was released in 1995, and the protagonist was Alan. Back then, Alan got trapped in the game for more than 20 years after playing it. The pilot originally wanted to clear the level and escape alone, but after trying many times, he still couldn't pass the vehicle house level. Now he only had one life left. Bethany immediately understood after hearing this. It turned out that he was the one the NPC had told them to find at the market. All 5 characters had to cooperate to escape from this game. The vehicle house was heavily guarded. The pilot had waited 3 weeks before the guards left for a short while. Bethany thought about using a honey trap to lure them away, but with his current short and fat appearance, his looks simply didn't allow it. The most suitable person became Martha. Martha refused without hesitation. It was simply not her area of expertise, but she couldn't resist Spencer's persuasion. Martha had to take a risk and learn on the spot from Bethany. Bethany taught her 3 moves. The first move is to walk a sexy catwalk and slowly approach the man. The second move is to seductively flip her hair and shoot glances that make people lose their wits. The third move is to gently bite her lips to tempt their thoughts and make them lower their guard. Bethany also patted her chest and guaranteed no man could escape after learning these 3 moves. The pilot thought it was reliable after hearing this, and even praised Martha for being as beautiful as Cindy Crawford. Cindy was a super famous American supermodel in the 1990s. Everyone thought something was off right away. The pilot's taste was way too outdated, so Spencer asked Alex what year it was, and the answer was 1996. Everyone realized instantly, this pilot was the Alex who disappeared 20 years ago. Alex felt like his world fell apart in an instant. But there was no time for sorrow now. The top priority was to get out of the game. After the training, Martha gathered her courage and went for it. She forgot everything she'd been taught when she got nervous. Forget about being charming. Her movements were as stiff as a board. Just then, a piece of music started playing. Martha suddenly remembered that war dance was one of her skills, and started dancing to the music. The others took the opportunity to sneak into the vehicle house. The guards inside heard the noise and tried to look back. The guards were easily taken down. When the villain Russell found out, he sent bikers to intercept them. At the critical moment, Alex piloted the helicopter and led everyone to break through the siege, but the enemy's firepower was too fierce, damaging the rotor, and the collective pitch control also fell off. The helicopter couldn't take off at all and could only fly close to the ground. Just then, the drumbeat sounded again. A group of rhinos chased after them like maniacs. They would be doomed if caught. Spencer decided to climb out to fix the plane. As long as he attached the collective pitch control lever back to the rotor, they could climb, with rhinos chasing behind and stone walls blocking the front. At the 11th hour, Spencer finally got it done. The good news is that everyone finally got out of danger. The bad news is that the gemstone fell. They can't complete the mission without the gemstone, so they have to go back to pick it up. But right now, a herd of rhinos is circling around the gemstone, making it impossible to get close. At this moment, Spencer remembered that Fridge still has 2 lives left. People always say sacrificing a teammate gives unlimited power. Spencer didn't hesitate at all and threw Fridge down directly. Sure enough, the rhinos were attracted to Fridge. Spencer took the opportunity to rush over and pick up the gemstone. Fridge was trampled into mud by the rhinos on the spot. Fortunately, at the moment of respawn, Alex quickly tilted the helicopter over. Spencer pulled him onto the plane. All these years, it was the first time Alex had successfully crossed this canyon. He was extremely excited, but before he could be happy for 2 seconds, a mosquito flew over and bit him. It directly triggered his character's weakness. He collapsed to the ground on the spot. He was about to die. After getting along for this period of time, Bethany had already developed a crush on him. She didn't hesitate to lean over to give him CPR. As his breathing gradually recovered, the fading tattoo on Alex's body gradually reappeared, but one of the life stripes on Bethany's wrist slowly disappeared. But Bethany didn't care about that at all. To save someone, she finally woke Alex up in the end. As soon as Alex heard that it was Bethany who saved him, he gave her a hug. Bethany had a crush on the spot and her face turned bright red. On the other side, Spencer had long liked Martha, but he was timid before and didn't dare to say it. Now he has become brave in the game and simply confessed directly. He didn't expect it to be a mutual crush. Martha likes him too, and she likes the skinny Spencer in reality, not the muscular hunk in front of her. They hit it off and leaned in to kiss. At this time, the attention-seeker Fridge appeared to urge everyone to gather and hit the road. The 5 of them continued searching. Finally, they saw the jaguar stone statue. Suddenly, some torches lit up ahead. A road led straight to the stone statue. It looked like an invitation for them to go over. Everyone thought something was wrong. It can't be this easy. It must be a trap. Spencer said they might as well go around through the trees. After speaking, he held the gemstone and started climbing the tree. He was startled by a sudden squirrel jumping out and fell down directly. He was surrounded by a group of jaguars and eaten up. When he respawned, he found the gemstone was still on him. It turned out that according to the game rules, things obtained before death can still be kept after respawning. But now Spencer only has 1 life left. The courage he had before disappeared in an instant. It's similar to the mentality when playing games. If you have more lives, you dare to take risks. But once lives become precious, the timid and cowardly side comes out. After hearing this, Fridge suddenly became a life mentor. People only have 1 life originally. What matters is how to live it, not whether you are afraid of death. Spencer was deeply inspired after hearing this. Who would have thought that Fridge usually looks muscular and brawny, but not very sharp-minded, yet he can say such reasonable words. Before long, Russell sent bikers again to block them. The 5 of them divided the work according to the game routine. Bethany takes the upper road, Fridge takes the lower road, Martha is in charge of stopping the bikers, Alex lures away the jaguars. This way, it can ensure that Spencer takes the middle road to the stone statue. The plan was going smoothly at first, but there were too many bikers, and they quickly caught Martha. At the critical moment, Spencer rushed over to save the damsel in distress. Then he got on a motorcycle and raced straight for the stone statue. To get rid of the jaguars chasing behind, he even used a flamethrower to create a wall of fire and managed to get away. Meanwhile, Fridge charged forward all the way, and unexpectedly encountered an elephant. Fortunately, his character was a zoologist, and he became good friends with the elephant in no time. But Bethany was heavy and ran slowly, so she was chased and caught by the jaguars, and even became Russell's hostage, forcing Spencer to hand over the gemstone. But they had swapped the gemstone a long time ago. The gemstone wasn't on Spencer. Just then, Fridge arrived riding the elephant, holding the gemstone, beating the jaguars back repeatedly. Russell's eyes turned red with anger and he raised his gun to shoot. The elephant was startled by the gunfire. In the chaos, The gemstone was thrown onto a high platform. Everyone looked at the elephant and suddenly realized this was the climb mentioned in the note. They quickly told Spencer to head straight for the stone statue, and asked Martha to retrieve the gemstone, but unfortunately, the gemstone fell right into a snake pit. Martha's weakness was venom, but to get the gemstone back and return home smoothly, Martha jumped into the snake pit. At this moment, Russell also arrived, pointing his gun at her and demanding the gemstone. Seeing that Spencer was about to climb to the top of the stone statue, Martha had a sudden idea. She held the gemstone tightly and deliberately let a snake bite her. This way, when she respawned, she could still keep the gemstone in her hand. Spencer seized the opportunity. Spencer turned around and placed the gemstone back on the jaguar statue's head. But strangely, nothing happened. Bethany suddenly realized they hadn't shouted the game's name yet. Only then would the game be truly cleared. As soon as the mission was completed, the previous NPC driver came out to bid them farewell. Fridge had long been impatient, rubbing his hands and muttering that he could get rid of this short and stubby figure. On the contrary, Spencer looked a bit dejected. He knew that once he left the game, he would turn back into that skinny and cowardly invisible person. He even thought that it might be nice to stay in the game forever. Martha saw what he was thinking, patted him, and said no matter how fun the game was, it was still fake. You couldn't live in a dream forever. The days in reality were the real ones. Spencer sighed and silently said goodbye to his muscular hunk body. When they returned to the real world, everyone realized that Alex hadn't come with them. The four of them hurried to the haunted old house in town, and were all dumbfounded when they saw it. There was no haunted house. It was a clean and beautiful house. A middle-aged man standing at the door was the grown-up Alex, with his wife and children beside him. Alex's eyes widened when he saw the four of them. It felt like a dream. It turned out that there really was no concept of time in the game. As long as you cleared the level, you could return to the exact moment you first entered the game. That's how Alex returned to 20 years ago, and even changed the course of everything. And now he was living a good life. Bethany felt a bit upset watching this scene. Her budding crush had wilted before it could bloom. Alex even had a daughter.
Daughter's name is Bethany.
After such an adventure, the four of them became the best of friends. Spencer finally dared to confess to Martha, and to his surprise, Martha agreed on the spot. As they were talking, that familiar drumbeat sounded again. The four exchanged a glance and understood. They couldn't let anyone else accidentally stumble into this game, get stuck and unable to get out, so they simply found the game console and smashed it. Instead of seeking a sense of existence in the virtual world, it's better to live their own lives well in the real world. The film isn't a masterpiece, but it's a qualified stress-relieving entertainment film. There's no complicated plot or deliberate preaching, only a snappy rhythm and likable designs, allowing people to watch it easily and gain pure joy. Character contrast is the biggest highlight of the whole film. After the four troubled high school students entered the game, their bodies and personalities were completely misplaced. The thin and introverted student turned into the muscular Dr. Smolder Bravestone, the tall football player shrank into a short character, the vain girl became a potbelly professor, the shy girl transformed into the agile Ruby Roundhouse. The actors accurately portrayed this sense of dislocation. Dwayne Johnson portrayed the cowardice deep in the character's bones. Jack Black vividly depicted the girl's little gestures and tantrums. Thanks to this performance, he was even nominated for Best Comedic Performance, making the contrast the core source of laughter. The rhythm of the action-adventure scenes is well controlled. The beasts in the tropical jungle, and the villain's pursuers create a sense of tension. Scenes such as fighting rhino herds, escaping cliffs, and close-quarters combat are lively but not chaotic. Karen Gillan, who plays Ruby Roundhouse, delivers action scenes that are both cool and a bit clumsy, retaining the excitement of an action film while fitting the relaxed tone of a comedy, and preventing the adventure from feeling heavy. The film's growth core is not obtrusive. The four students who originally disliked each other and had their own flaws, went from fighting alone to being forced to cooperate, and finally to being willing to sacrifice their game lives for each other. This transformation from fragmentation to unity isn't deliberately sensational, yet reveals the truth of youth growth. Just like ordinary people learning to cooperate through running in and challenges, and understand themselves, it is close to the audience's life. Overall, the film has an accurate positioning, exactly meeting the audience's needs for jokes, exciting adventures, and likable characters. There's no need to delve into the logic. It's suitable for watching with family and friends, to simply enjoy 2 hours of joy. This is exactly what an excellent entertainment film should be. This video ends here. If you like my video, please subscribe to the channel. See you next time.